everybody and welcome back for another workout video. So today we're going to be doing the Bleu exercises. So keep in mind that these exercises are mostly strengthening exercises or resistance exercises per se. So these are not your typical cardio exercises that you see a lot of people doing on an everyday basis. So these are meant to kind of fatigue your muscle, right? So what we're going to do is you're going to be lifting a weight or a resistance band, and you want to keep it between 10 to 15 repetitions per exercise, right? So for some of you that might be a little more deconditioned, you can do one set of 10 to 15 repetitions, or you can work your way up to 2 or 3 sets. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be doing only 2 sets of each exercise just to keep it relatively short, but feel free to add in a 3rd set if you feel like you're more experienced with your lifting. After, we're going to be adding a couple cardio exercises in between too, just so that you guys have options to do at home. Make sure that before you start the exercise that you are warmed up and you have done, let's say, a walk to warm yourself up, and then you can start your strengthening exercises after that. So for this circuit today, you'll need a few things. So you'll need a set of dumbbells. These can be soup cans, water bottles, anything that you can use for weights in your hands. You'll need an elastic band, hopefully with 2 ends and a knot tied on the end so that you can clench it in your doorway. You'll also need ankle weights or sugar bags or whatever you can find to tape around your ankles for resistance. And you'll need some kind of a step. So you can use your staircase at home, preferably with a railing so that you keep yourself safe and obviously not have any falls. The first exercise that we're going to do, we're going to be using this elastic band. So this is an exercise that's going to work your core muscles here. So we're going to use the doorway to clench the band inside, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to open your door. You're going to put the knot on the other side of your door frame or your door stop, which is that piece that stops the door from going any further. So the knot goes on the other side of it here. You're going to clench that. We're going to do about elbow height for this one, okay? So for me, I'm going to go right around there. From there, you're going to have the band coming across your body, and you're going to step to the side away from the door. So that adds a little bit of resistance and tension on the band. So the movement basically from there is you're going to have your feet about shoulder width apart to give yourself a good base of support. And then all you're doing is you're pressing straight out. So when you press straight out, the band's going to want to pull you towards the doorway, right? So you're trying to resist that. You're trying to brace yourself here in your core, your hips, right? So you're trying to resist that by just kind of making yourself stay nice and stable, right? So I'm going to go in and out nice and slow. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So like I said, I'm going to be doing about 10 to 15, 10, 11. Feel free to stop at 10 if you want to, if you already feel your kind of core fatiguing, right? 12, 13, 14, and 15. So now we'll switch sides. We'll do the other side, same thing. I probably won't switch just because for the camera angle it's going to be a little weird. But basically switch sides and do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm going to keep going on this side for now, okay? So 1, 2. So make sure, you are doing both sides because you want a nice balance in your muscles, right? You don't want to have one side way stronger than the other. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and that's it for that one. So next, what we're going to do, you can take off your band of the doorway if you want to, or you can leave it there, it's up to you. We're going to go over to number 2. So number 2 is an exercise for your hamstring muscles, so the main muscles in here. The exercise is basically called a butt kick. So the movement that you're going to be doing is you're going to have to hold on to something for balance, and then you're basically just going to be kicking your butt with your heel, right? So that's going to be working these muscles here. You can use ankle weights if you want to provide a little more resistance, or anything that you can tape around. I'll be using them for now. If you have these, they're great. You can buy them at the dollar store on another time. But for now, use whatever you have at home, okay? So all we're going to be doing is basically keeping the knee stable. The knee's not moving at all. You're balancing on one foot and you're just slowly lifting your heel to your butt. So that's 1, 2. So remember to go nice and slow on the way down, right? Notice how I'm not letting my leg just drop down. I'm basically just letting it go nice and slow on the way down. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. And if you want, you can alternate between the two legs. You don't have to do all one leg, then do the other. You can alternate if you'd like. It's more of a personal preference thing. It doesn't really matter which way you do it. And if you want, you can stop at 10. So that's 10 there. 11. You can also stop at 12, 11, however many you want to do. And just until you feel that muscle kind of fatiguing, right? You want to feel a little bit of a light burning. Some moderate muscle fatigue is what we want, right? 14. 15, switch legs now if that's what you're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, it's completely normal to be short of breath when you're exercising, but if you do need a break, you can take a break throughout your set or between both sets, okay? And make sure that if you do have any kind of lung issues or you have a hard time breathing, you can use your pursed lip breathing, right? So specifically for COPD, that's what we want to use it for, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So give yourself a 2 to 3 minute rest if you want. If you only need a minute or two, that's okay also, right? So give yourself enough rest so that you feel that muscle fatigue kind of going away a little bit and you're catching your breath. And then we can do one more set, okay? So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going just so that we keep this video relatively short. So we'll start with the one leg again. 1. I'll demonstrate alternating legs this one, right? So we'll do 1 each leg and then we'll switch legs after that. 3, 4, 5. So don't be surprised if the second set you feel a little bit more than the other one. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, we're almost there, 15. All right, so now you can take off your ankle weights. For the third one, it's going to be a shoulder exercise. So this is called a lateral raise. So all you need is a set of weights. If you want at home, you can also do it with your elastic band. So I'll quickly show you how to do that with your elastic band. So with your band, you can step on the middle of your band and then basically raise it laterally like this. That's how you would use your band for resistance. I'll be doing it with weights or water bottles or soup cans, whatever it is you have at home. So basically all it is a motion up to about shoulder height right here. You don't want to go any higher, and then back down, okay? So that's 1, 2, remember nice and slow on the way down, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So remember too that you can use some lighter weights if you want to, right? So you want to use a weight that you're probably going to start fatiguing the muscle around 10, right? So if you're doing 15 and it's very, very easy, you might have to try using something a little bit heavier. If you're doing 10 and it's very, very hard to do, you can drop down and use something lighter so that you can get in that 10 to 15 range, right? That's the magic number that we want to stick around, okay? So now for the second set, now that you're well rested. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So remember, for these two, you don't want to have bad posture when you're doing them, right? You always want to have your shoulders pulled back and not slouching forward like this, right? So you always want to have good posture. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So in between numbers 3 and 4, we're going to be doing a little bit of a cardio exercise. So what you'll need at home is just a step, right? So your staircase will work perfectly, any kind of staircase you can find. Hopefully with a railing or two, just to keep it as safe as possible. So basically for this exercise, all you're doing is you're going to be stepping up with 2 feet and then down with 2 feet, right? So this is a prolonged thing that we're trying to do for as long as we can. We're trying to fatigue the leg muscles a little bit. We're also trying to get your heart rate up, right? Because that's what cardio exercises mean, right? It's your cardiovascular system we're trying to work. So you do this until you kind of feel that you're getting kind of pretty short of breath, right? You're going to be about moderately to maybe severely short of breath. And your legs, or the muscle fatigue, you're also rating that as maybe moderate to severe, right? So make sure you do use your personal breathing for this one specifically, because you will get short of breath likely more than the strengthening exercises that we're doing in the circuit today, right? So that's 15. So this one, you don't have to do it for repetitions if you don't want to. You can also do it for a certain amount of time, depending on what kind of cadence you're going to, right? Or how fast you're going up and down. And you can do as many as 1 set or 2 to 3 sets of this one also, right? And remember that if you don't feel you can even get through a lot of these exercises, the full 8 exercises, you can also just do, let's say, just the first 4, right? Don't feel like you have to keep going and do all the exercises because I'm doing them in the video, right? So do what you're able to do, and then that way you'll be able to work yourself up from there, right? So that's about 30 there. So give yourself about a 2 to 3 minute rest after that, catch your breath. If you want to do another set, feel free to do another set. If not, we're going to move on to number 4 now. All right, for exercise number 4, it is called a chair push-up or a dip, right? So we're going to be using the arms of the chair to kind of push ourselves up out of the chair, using hopefully our arms only, but what you're going to be doing is using your legs a little bit if you need, right? So if you need more help from your legs, feel free to use them more. But we're trying to use our arms as best we can to kind of fatigue these tricep muscles back here, right? So our pushing muscles or pressing muscles, right? So basically all I'm doing is I'm just going to press up all the way until my elbows are straight, and then slowly back down like that. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So remember, you can stop at about 10 if you want. Even 8 is fine if you already feel your muscles fatiguing. 14, 15. So take a little rest, give your arms a shake if you have to. Wait until that kind of fatigue feeling will go away in your muscles here. And then we're going to do one more set. So I'll go ahead and do a quick set just to make the video a little shorter. But feel free to take a longer rest. So hit pause on that screen if you want to. And then you can resume whenever you're ready. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So the next exercise, number 5, is actually what I just did right there. So we're going to be doing a sit to stand or a squat. So typically during the Blue circuit, I use the ball and I put it behind your lower back against the wall and we do a squat like that. But I know a lot of you guys won't have that big purple ball at home to do that exercise. So we're going to substitute it for the sit to stand, which we did in the last video, right? So for that exercise, you're basically just going to be sitting to standing, right? So basically just all the way down and all the way up. So this is a leg exercise. We're working some of the major muscles in our legs and our hips too, right? So one like that. And then if you want to make it a little bit easier, you can also do that exercise holding onto the back of your chair so that you don't have to go all the way down to 90 degrees with your legs and hips, right? So basically you can go about a quarter of the way down like that. And of course you're holding onto the chair for balance or a countertop or whatever you can hold on to, right? So I'll start with this one, 2, 3. If you want, do it the way I did it before on the chair, instead of doing it this way. 7, 8. So if you do get short of breath, that's fine. I am too, so 9, 10. And this is one that you will likely get more short of breath than others. For the reason because you're using up some big muscles, right? So those big muscle groups need a lot of oxygen, right? (13, 14, and 15. So for the second set, I'll do it the other method where you're sitting up and down in your chair. Remember that if you want to make it a little bit harder, like we mentioned in the other video, you can just kind of lightly tap your butt on the chair, or basically just hovering over the chair, but you're going all the way down until you're just lightly tapping, and then back up. That puts a little more strain on your legs if you want to do it that way, right? Or you can sit all the way down and then all the way up, right? So we'll start now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Feel free to do whatever you want with your hands too, but the typical rule is you don't want to use your hands to press up on your knees, because then that's kind of cheating and it's making it a little bit easier for your legs, right? We're trying to focus on strengthening those leg muscles, right? So if you do need to make it easier, you can just do it the other way that I showed you, right? 12, 13, 14, and 15. So next exercise, You are going to need your band again, that you hopefully have at home. And we're going to be using the doorway again, right? So we're going to clench the band in the doorway, roughly about elbow height again, like you did your first exercise today. So we're going to be clenching it in there. And then this one is called a row, right? So it's going to be working your back muscles, also your arms. But it's a very good exercise for posture, right? So to help with your posture, which of course, the better our posture is, the better our breathing is, just the better our muscles function overall, right? So for this one, you're going to back up a little bit so you have a good amount of tension on the bands. And then from there, you're going to be starting with your arms straight out like this. And then you're basically just going to be pulling in. Your elbows are going to be staying in tight to your body. And then from here, you're basically trying to squeeze those shoulder blades together and squeeze your back muscles together at the end of it, right? And then nice and slow on the way out, right? So squeeze the back muscles, bring the shoulder blades together, and then nice and slow on the way out. 3, 4, 5. And remember, if you don't feel enough tension, you can also modify the tension on these bands by basically choking up on the band, so you can wrap your hands around a few times to add a little bit more resistance, and that will just put a little more strain on the elastic or tension, which will fatigue your muscles quicker in the end, right? So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So 2 to 3 minute rest if you'd like. If you want, you can keep going with me or hit pause and have a little rest, right? Catch your breath, do your pursed lip breathing if you have to, and then we're ready to go again. I'll do the second set now. 1, and make sure that when you are doing this with the bands, you do lock your door, right? Just in case someone walks in, you wouldn't want to hit yourself with the band or have it come flying back at you, right? 4, 5, 6, and check your bands on a regular basis too to make sure that they don't have any cracks, holes, they're not drying out, right? So that they can break on you, right? Because that could hurt a little bit for sure. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So exercise number 7 is for your hip muscles, right? So you'll be working kind of this outside hip muscles. Basically the movement is lifting your leg up like this. So make sure you are using a chair for balance if you need it. You might need a resistance band in a loop to tie around your ankles, or you can use the ankle weights that we used previously, right, to provide a little bit of resistance against gravity, right? So I'm going to use the elastic band for this one. So basically you're going to stand behind your chair or beside it till you do one leg then the other one. And all you're going to be doing is kicking your leg out to the side and then slowly letting it come back in, right? So that's 1, 2, so I feel it right on the outside of my leg here. 3, 4, you might feel it on this leg too a little bit just because you are balancing on the one leg and that hip is kind of working to stabilize itself, right? To keep you upright and not let you collapse, right? So you might feel those muscles fatiguing too. 6, 7. If you want, you can alternate. If you are standing behind your chair, you can alternate between one and the other. So you can do one leg and the other leg like a teeter-totter type thing. 11, 12. You can also do this exercise without a resistance band or weights, right? You might still feel it enough in the muscle to get a good workout. 14 and 15. So I'll switch sides and do the other side now. 1, remember, 1 to 2 minute rest, 2 to 3 if you need it. Catch your breath. Wait until that kind of fatigue feeling goes away. Likely if you're switching to the other leg, you don't need to do that. You can just switch over to the next one, unless it is that you're short of breath and you just want a little rest to catch your breath, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So remember, nice and slow on the way back in. You don't want to let your leg just kind of shoot back in, right, like that. Nice and slow. So 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So for the next set or the next exercise, it is a step up. So for this one, you're going to use your staircase. Feel free to do one more set of that one if you want to on each leg. It's up to you. But for the next one, it is another kind of hip exercise, leg exercise. So what you're going to do is you're just going to leave one leg on top of the step. So hopefully you have some kind of a railing here to hold yourself up. But all I'm doing is I'm basically using this leg to push myself up off the ground and up onto the step, right? So I'm just using this leg, we're pulling ourselves up like this, and then slowly on the way back down, right? So you want that knee to be kind of in front of your body a little bit and not way under you like this, because that can be a little bit too much pressure on the knee. So basically, you want the knee not to go way past the toe. Let's say there was a wall here. You don't want that knee going way over that toe like this, right? You want it to be a little slightly behind or kind of even with the toe, right, like that. So when I step up, it's a nice smooth movement, and then back down, right? So hopefully you'll be holding on to a railing here of some kind. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We'll switch sides and do the other side now. So same thing on this side. After this one, if you want, stop there or do another set on both legs to make it your 2 sets. If your legs are already pretty fatigued from the other exercises, no worries, just stop there. You don't even have to do this exercise if you don't want to, right? 4, so remember holding on to your railing, right? Because it is a little hard to balance without that railing. 11, 12, 13. Remember, you can stop at 10 if you want to, or even before that, right? And 15. So that's it for the blue circuit today. Just make sure that when you're doing your exercises, try to do them on enough frequent basis, right? So twice a week is probably a good starting point, right? You can mix up between doing your blue exercises on one day and then your orange ones on another day if you want to. Or you can kind of do the blue ones 1 week or a couple weeks consecutively and then do your orange ones a couple weeks consecutively. It's up to you how you want to do it. Mix it up a little bit if you want to. It's also important to still do some of your cardio exercises, right? So go out for a walk if you want to. That's something that you can do every day is walking, right? So for some people, you might only be able to walk 5-10 minutes, even 3 minutes, right? For some people, you might be able to go for a little bit longer walk, right? Regardless, you want to kind of build up your level of resistance to that, right? And your ability to do it so that you're able to keep going longer and longer as you keep doing it.